If confidence were constant, leadership would be easy, but it's not. Today, we're going to talk about the ebbs and flows of that and what you can do. Welcome to How to Get What You Want. This podcast is for driven women ready to claim their goals and navigate their careers with clarity and confidence. Join me as we explore real stories, tools, and strategies to help you steer your career exactly where you want to go. Let's get started on helping you get what you want. Hey friend, welcome. I'm Susie, and I am happy that you made the choice to be here today. And maybe you read the title and thought, I want to understand why confidence ebbs and flows. I actually remember wondering that and not being aware of it. And so I'm really excited about this because it is super important and it does ebb and flow. And it's important to think about that aspect for you and how it shows up for you. So before I jump in, I just wanted to tell you, I love this topic because confidence doesn't come alone. Confidence comes with people. And I have a masterclass, a mastermind with great women leaders that I run. It's a small group. I've gotten great feedback, women that said, this is exactly what I needed. If you're interested in learning more about the career level up, go to the show notes and there's a link there that you can learn more. I have 2 sessions coming up soon. So get on the list and apply. So let's just jump right in. Have you ever noticed that you feel really confident in one meeting, but then you lose that confidence during the day? We've been trained to think that we either have confidence or we don't. We don't really think about how it ebbs and flows. It changes. We are confident in general, but there are times where that is challenged by the circumstance around us. And that's why I want you to think about confidence is situational. It's having situational awareness that can help you move through so that when that confidence wanes, you can understand that and be able to adjust that. It's not a personality trait. It's not a I am or not, or I got the chip and now I am. It's a contextual response. It's what is happening around you. It adjusts that. Even when we believe that the person in front of us is more competent than us, that can change our level of confidence in the moment. That happens in negotiation, that if we believe the other party is a better negotiator, we will dilute our experience as a negotiator. We'll believe that we're less than because we're comparing to that person. It's super interesting. So I really want you to normalize the fact that confidence is something that ebbs and flows, and it's okay. I want you to think about it like that and maybe even identify, I'm not feeling it, but understanding that you still have it. You still have what you need to get through. Let's think about it as a gap, the confidence gap. And it isn't about competence. It's about context colliding with perception. Context colliding with perception. So context is what's going on around us, and our perception is the way that we are interpreting that. It's a math equation we do, and it fluctuates depending on who's in the room, what's at stake, what's the outcome, how important it is to us, how visible or exposed we feel, whether we have the experience to move through, whether we perceive ourselves as having leverage. We may not have any, and that could just completely dunk our confidence. A lot of people think confidence is something you have or don't have, but the psychology research tells a different story. The concept of self-efficacy, how capable we believe we are at a specific task, shows that confidence varies situation to situation. And social psychology has documented effects like big fish, little pond effect, where people have the same skill, but they feel more or less confident depending on the group they're in. I love this visual. So think about this. one pond, big fish, little fish, right? And so depending on you're the constant, you're the fish. So if the pond is small, you're a big fish. If this pond is huge, if it's ocean-like, you are a small fish. So when you think about the situation as that fluctuating pond, that changes the way that you perceive your reality in the moment. I love that. That's why you can walk in one meeting feeling strong and prepared and just really ready and do really, really good. And then you go into the next room, you don't feel good, or you feel good and then you start to lose, the wheels start coming off, and you can feel like sometimes I could like hear the nerves in my voice because I'm so in tune to how I should sound. And then all of a sudden one thing leads to another and you just catapults into this lack of confidence. And it's not random. It's really the interactions. You might not be ready. Something unexpected happens and it just happens to you. So understanding that confidence equation is experience plus perception plus role plus influence plus people dynamics. That's a big math equation. That equals your confidence. So when you think about it like that and how heavy that is, there's all of these things. Every situation has so many components to it. And when we don't look at it like that and we think it's a static, we think everything will be the same, we don't realize that when things change, that changes our approach, how we feel. And maybe it doesn't even look different to anybody else, but it feels different to us. And maybe we won't ask as big of an ask, or we won't say it as confident. We might not be able to push back like we need to because our confidence wanes. So being aware of that, I think I'm just really excited about saying wanes how many times today. So we'll see. I've already said it a couple times. I'll say it again. So when we think about when our confidence wanes, that's when it shifts. And so when we think about experience, is this familiar or unfamiliar territory? Is this new to us? And even being able to say, okay, this is a new experience. Is it going to feel uncomfortable? That's okay. I'm doing the reps. I'm doing the reps to get in. It's perception, how we believe people see us. Do they think that we should be leading the meeting? Do they believe that we're a good leader? Those things make a big difference in terms of how we show up. Titles and roles, authority signals. Is the room you're going into respectful of the titles and you don't have a title, or you do have a title? That changes. Influence, real or perceived power. Do you have that? And then the people involved. It certainly changes if you're presenting for your peers and then your boss shows up, or even your boss's boss, or a senior leader that you don't know, that you don't have any track record with. Even the fact that you have a full room of people and there's one person you don't know. The combination of the people in the room can also adjust your confidence factor. It can make it wane. So if your confidence changes depending on the situation, that doesn't mean you're inconsistent. It means you're human. We all feel that way. It's that imposter syndrome. It's that in the situation not feeling like we're enough. And the thing about, of course, there's the negotiator mindset here, because negotiators understand that there's variability in every situation that they face. And that's why they prepare. That's why they zoom out. That's why they think about it from a lot of different angles. That's why they consider their leverage and your leverage. Negotiators look at it from all angles so that in the moment, they can pull together the confidence they need, or the perceived confidence. Even acting confident can raise your confident factor, kind of tricking your body into thinking you're more confident than you really are. They don't panic. Negotiators don't panic. They adjust their strategy Because the more you know, the more awareness that you've created around a situation you're moving into, the less likely you will be hijacked by something that is out of your control. So you need to think about this. And it happens all the time. I often watch people present, whether it's a business plan, whether it's a keynote, whether it's a team event or what's it called? Like a big company meeting. I watch people and how they present because I give them feedback. And I was working with a team recently who had to do the same presentation first they did it for their peers, then they did it for their team, then they did it for the broader team, then they did it for their boss's boss's boss, and then they did it for their boss and the whole company. And it was fascinating to watch their change in their kind of like their demeanor, the way they approached it. You could tell that there was apprehension the first time they presented it, but they weren't in front of their team. So they had the comfort of being a bit casual. And then the next time it was a bigger group, it was microphones and teleprompters. And so just that situation changed their feeling about it. And some of them that did really well, they had gone on the stage the night before and practiced. And the people that didn't, because of that change in kind of the scenery, it got them off a little bit. Their confidence wasn't as good. And you know what they did? They started reading their script. The more confident the person was, the less they relied on what they had written. It was fascinating. And then when they met with the CEO, we worked a lot on how they wanted to show up because some of them knew that person pretty well and others didn't. So we wanted to have some consistency across the group. But there was this air of nerves when the CEO came in and then they had to do it again. And this familiarity with their group because they'd heard it over and over again, not wanting to feel like it was mundane or like over and over. They have to have excitement around it. So it was interesting to watch them change. You know, they didn't change. The material didn't change, but everything around them changed. It made their confidence wane. It made their confidence in some situations go up. The more they did it, the very last time they did it, most all of them were pretty confident because they had reps. They had done it in front of a lot of different scenarios, and they had thought through the situational awareness that they needed to have in that situation when they did it the final time. So it happens all the time, and it adjusts really well. I remember I had to pitch a big deal to a new client, and I had done the same pitch, basically the same pitch so many times. But somebody told me this guy was abrupt, kind of a jerk. It won't let you finish. And I walked in and I was like so guarded. I had just presented this for the first time. I got to the first slide and I was just so emotional, not confident. And I didn't even do kind of the normal things that make me feel comfortable. I didn't take time to really get to know him. I just kind of jumped right in because I was like wanting to get done. And the guy ended up being really nice. And so in the moment, I was so ready. It was almost like I had a shield up and I wasn't confident at all. And I had to tell myself like, oh my gosh, this guy is not as advertised. He is showing up so collaborative, so nice. He's listening to me. So I had to readjust what was going on in the moment. And slowly my confidence came back once I realized I could handle it. So what's happening below the surface? Maybe you are underprepared, so you're not ready, and you can feel it, you know it, and you can't BS your way through. Maybe you're waiting for others to jump in because you feel like that was your plan. You thought somebody else was, and so now what you thought was going to happen isn't happening. And so you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't what I thought was going to go. This wasn't how it was going to go. Maybe you didn't realize like you had more credibility or you didn't have as much credibility based on your title, your influence, or the relationship. It's really important to stop in the moment and think about why I have confidence or not. And if I don't, like, even if it's a new situation where your confidence is low, what are you going to do to up that? How are you going to add fuel to your tank so that your confidence feels at least settled enough that you can get through, and then figure out how you can get that support? Because sometimes we have to go through something and we don't have confidence, but understanding that it's an investment in the future. That's great to think about it like that. And then what can you do to get your confidence up as much as you can so that you feel comfortable? Because really, confidence is about knowing what you're doing, and it's about feeling good and confident about it. So having that is a feeling that makes you enjoy the moment better. So here's some tips I want you to think about. Separating confidence from competence. Are you thinking really quickly when you don't have confidence that I am not worthy, that I don't have the right to be here, I don't want to present? How do you shift those, or how do you pull those apart so you can go, all right, I don't feel comfortable or confident, but I know what I'm talking about, and understanding that. So asking, what part of the situation is new or unfamiliar to me? What is getting in my way? And then identify, what can I bring to this? How can I get support? What can I do to increase my confidence? Because my confidence is there. New table, same value. You have value. It's just a different pond. So thinking about, what do you need? What do you need to get through so that you can increase that confidence? Maybe it's just about taking that stand before you go in. Like, you're like, I know what I'm doing. I'm intimidated by this situation, but I'm going to just be excited about it and grasp my confidence. For me, it's when I know it and my confidence is low, is playing the part, at least for the first few minutes. I memorize what I'm going to say so that I can coax myself into believing that the confidence is there. The second tip is to start reading the room like a negotiator. It is so important, especially when something feels high stakes, which is triggering that low confidence, is how can I think through the situation in every angle like a negotiator does? Who's going to be in the room? Where is the power? What are the perceptions? What is the goal? Getting clarity about everything, it allows you to be more agile in the moment, and it allows you to have more confidence because you've looked behind every corner before you walked in. So think about yourself as a negotiator. That's why I always say negotiator mindset. Because when you do that, you think, okay, my confidence is low. How am I going to take some time to really pull apart what's going to happen so that I can see it from a lot of different angles? What's the game being played? But how do I want to play it well? How can I shift that for me? And then anchor your confidence to intention, not approval. Approval-based confidence, like you want everybody to tell you how great you are, that's fragile. But when you're intentional about your confidence, that's steady. So define your purpose. Understand what your value is. Be really clear before you go in. Don't look to the people in the room. Look to the goal of the situation you're moving forward. Because when you can get really clear about that goal, zoom it out as it's a value to more than just you, that allows you to see it from a different frame. And when you do that, your confidence will increase because it's not just about you. So often people will tell me, my great friend Micah said, Susie, it isn't about the way you present or the words you say when I'm in front of a room. She said, it's more about what you're giving to the people that are sitting in front of you. And when I shifted that focus, it shifted me feeling confident about getting every word right, everything that I was going to do when I present, to this is for them. It's not for me. That increased my confidence in the situation where I had the competence, but not the confidence. So how can you anchor confidence to intention and not approval? And the intention being, what is the goal for you? I love this topic so much. It aligns so well with great negotiators because you know what our perception of negotiators are? Think about somebody, when you think about a negotiator, you think about confidence, right? So when you take on the mindset of a negotiator, you don't become them. You become the practice of them, the skill of them. So when you think about it like that, it allows you to be more confident in moving through. Strong leaders expect the ebb and flow. They don't overreact to it. And they use that awareness to recalibrate so that they can be their confident self for themselves and for everybody in the room. And listen, we want to be around people who are confident. You know, you never want to see that speaker that looks awkward and doesn't look comfortable. We always want we get inspired by people who are confident. Think about that. The team that you lead needs to see your confidence. So if you're not displaying it, how can you increase it so that it feels visceral around you? I want you to reflect on this. Where does my confidence feel the strongest and why? Where does it dip? And can I control that? And what if I started treating confidence like data instead of a verdict? When we believe that confidence, we either have it or we don't, we allow ourselves to lose it. But when we understand that it ebbs and flows, we can really work on raising it in more situations where we really need it to be successful. This is exactly the kind of awareness we need to build for becoming a negotiator. When you understand the dynamics at play, when you have high situational awareness, your confidence increases. Be okay with the fact that it ebbs and flows. That's all right. Just have that awareness. Tell yourself it's okay, but do what you need to pull it together so that when you face a high stakes situation, you're ready. I'm so glad you made the choice to be here today. It's so important to build our negotiator mindset. And remember, it's a process. It's a skill. It's not something we can just get. It's a mindset. Until next time, I'm Susie. I'm so glad you made the choice to be here today. See you next time.